Spiritual Rain, and I've been looking forward to having her on because I remember she mentioned to me like 3 or 4 months ago, before like last fall, that when I was like thinking about wanting to do live programs or live interviews, that she wanted to be one of my guests. And now
Yes.
she's breaking her schedule and she was able to come on today. And so we're going to have a great time
Hmm.
coloring the Three of Cups.
Three of Cups.
And so I'm going to start out, I'm going to turn the camera around and she's going to tell us about her 4 YouTube channels. She has 4 YouTube channels. One with like
Quattro.
tarot, another a cooking channel, an art channel, and then I can't remember, the fourth one was
Kids art.
kids art. So
Kids
there's
art. Yeah.
art and then kids art.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got kids art, cooking. I was like looking at that, I had looking at all those nice cinnamon rolls and all that stuff, cooking, and then tarot.
All
All right.
right.
Wait, no,
That's
it's
4 cups. Punch.
4 cups and it's the three of cups.
Yes.
Okay, so
So I
I'm gonna.
think Bill asked me before about the colors, and we were talking backstage. That's why we're a little late, because we were talking about colors and things like that. And I asked him if he would use a nice warm palette for the coloring. So,
But maybe Spiritual Rain doesn't realize how often I come on late.
oh, really?
Every, Almost everyone else here knows about this, and it's like when I have my Sunday afternoon show, and Cosmic says, "Oh, Billy's always late." You know
Billy's
how
always.
Billy's always late, 15 minutes late. It's like, oh my God, he's on time. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
That's funny. I'm late.
I,
I'm late
I was,
for a very important date.
yeah, I was never late for work.
Oh,
Very, very rarely. I was never late for work, but I've always been late for church and for everything else. And because that's the late gene, which I have the late gene, and it runs through the family, and it's like, okay, when we have a family party, and we say, oh, it's going to start at 3 o'clock, and then what time is Karen going to get here? Oh, 4 o'clock. Yeah, okay, that's on time for her. It's like it's like Indian time. I shouldn't say that, but every it's it's start time is when it starts.
right. Right.
So, for instance,
It's very subjective.
my father, actually, me and my father, we both worked for a tribe for a while. He did this last 10 years of his his working career working for the in a indigenous casino, and I worked for about 10 years at that same place.
Mm.
But he told me about a funeral that he'd went to. I've actually been to several funerals down at the tribal center too, and it started like 2 hours late, and but
Mm.
it was like 2 o'clock Indian time, and everybody, it was so it started when everybody got there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera down, and Rain is going to begin chatting. So let me see. We're going to turn the camera so that the clutter doesn't show.
The
There we go.
clutter. Oh, the clutter.
Yeah, the clutter. And down we go like that. Okay. So why don't you
I
tell us?
love that color in the book. Wow.
Yeah. Why don't you start telling us about your channels and what it is that you do here in YouTube?
Okay. Well, as mentioned, I have 4 channels, and my first channel that I started was actually Rain Francis Art. And it is a channel where I offer, I just want to turn the chat off here if I can on my phone, because it's a little bit distracting. I don't know if I can do that. Ange, if you have any tips to tell me how I can turn the chat off on the phone. I started my channel, Rain Francis Art. I think it was in 2021 or 2022. I can't really remember, but it was supposed to be a channel where I'm offering time-lapsed and real-time art lessons. And, it was my first channel, and so I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do what everybody else does, and I'm just gonna start with doing time-lapse stuff where because I was shy in front of the camera when I first started. I think we all are when we first start. We're a little bit camera shy. So I started doing, drawings, and they were time-lapsed with music behind them. And at first, I was mostly doing celebrity portraits. I was using charcoal or ink and graphite for the most part. And then I got brave and I decided, no, I'm going to do real time. And so I started doing real time art lessons, and I offer stencils, and they're always downloadable. And so people could follow along with me. And a lot of these videos usually were between an hour and a half to 2 hours long. But in the end, it just turned out really nice. And I love that channel. And I thought that channel would grow a little quicker than it has, but I know it's a niche area, the art area, the tutorial area. So right now we're at about, I don't know, 350 subscribers, but I will admit that I kind of let it go. And I think the last art tutorial I did was around Halloween because it was a ghost, how to paint a watercolor ghost. So it's been a while, but that was my first channel. And I love that channel so much. I'm going to start doing live streams on that channel instead of doing videos, because the problem is, and some of you saw, I think, Bill, you actually commented on my barnyard internet video where I showed you that a video I'm uploading took 33 hours in the end to upload. Um, because
Yeah.
my internet is slow. Yeah, it's so slow. So it's like, and that was, if you guys know anything about how large the files are, that was a 7 gigabyte video. Some of my art videos are 60 gigs. So can you imagine how many weeks it would take to upload a video like that? So I just realized, well, maybe I can't do that. Maybe I should start doing live streams and doing live tutorials. And that way YouTube handles the bandwidth and I don't have to. So that's what's coming up on Rain Francis Art. And
Well, and
I know you've been doing live streams too for your art, right, Bill?
I do, because when you are doing videos and you're doing videos and and you can be like, for instance, if you've ever tried to edit a video on a telephone,
Oh
on the
God,
screen, it's no, I did it for like 6 months, and then I stopped doing it, and I said, I can't do this anymore. And so that's where
no.
I started doing live streams, because you don't get the option to edit. So you have to do a whole lot of planning in advance to
Yeah.
do a live stream. And so all that is your pre-planning, and then um so that you just don't have the option to go back and, oh, I want to edit this, I want to do that, or I want to make this bigger, this smaller, and all that stuff. You just don't have that option. And so it's
Yeah.
a
Or add text or add music or add a beginning or fade in and fade out and all that stuff that
and
is
so it
required
yeah
for a video.
and yeah, that's right. And when you do these live streams, you it's a let going it's actually, there's a spiritual process of your own spirituality, and you have to let go of your own ego, your own desires to be perfect. No live stream ever works out perfect. And then, now granted, you have
Right.
to what my like if I were to say what I've always been what I've been working on is in doing my live art, doing it as fast as I possibly can, is working on the
Mm,
speed, and then also keeping
mm,
up with the chat as well. And because, that's the thing is, because people get bored. And so if you can do a little mini painting or something like that, and you can run it
mm,
fast and work really fast, it's almost as like, like it's like a person can, um like they're watching an edited video. You're just going, you're just working as fast as you can, and you can only work fast through lots of practice.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but it emanates the time-lapsed video that a lot of people have, like, a lot of these videos that I've done, even if they're 2 hours long, I create shorts out of them that are less than a minute. So you see me starting from nothing, and in less than a minute, you see the finished product, which a lot of people who are into the instant gratification, they need to see things now, 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 it has to be instant, fast, fast, fast. That appeals to people. So I like to do a lot of shorts as well of the long videos that I do.
And you know that with if you're doing a vertical live, which I urge you to do them because more people watch
Yes.
on from a mobile device.
Yes.
And then you also there's a function on here where you can hit that and you can clip it up to like a 5-minute clip.
Mm,
And
okay.
then you can string those together and make your edited video from that. And
Mm,
if your stream is not blurry, then there are that's you can then and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You just try to do better the next time. You know.
yeah, exactly. I tried to edit once on my phone and that was it. I can't even type on my phone. I use the voice, recognition because there's no way I'm typing on my phone. No
Oh,
way.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well.
okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's fine. You as you were explaining, you have your channels and things that you're going to be doing, the live art, and then also
Yes.
you can also tell people because when they're watching on the replay, because there is the option to speed up the video because they can speed it
Yes.
up to times when they're
Mhm.
so it's just that you can say, well, please feel free to speed the video up. I mean, you can go with speaking, you can speed things up to 1.5, sometimes 1.75, and not lose anything. And
Right.
not
Or you can slow it down if people actually want to see what you're doing and they want to follow along with what you're doing as if they're watching a pre-recorded art tutorial, right? So
exactly.
that's a good thing too.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
another channel that I started was after Rain Francis Art. I was like, okay, I want to get that one going. And then I was like, okay, well, I just bought my house in 2020. I have all this land. I am trying to be self-sufficient. I am trying to have a really good garden and I already cook and I just wanted to share my home life. So I started Rain's Kitchen and Garden. That is the second channel that I started after Rain Francis Art. And my name is Rain Francis, by the way, you guys. A lot of people call me Francis, but that's my last name, and my real name is Rain. So I just want to let you guys know it's not a pseudonym. My name is Rain Francis. So I started Rain's Kitchen and Garden. And that's basically during the nice weather months. There are a lot of gardening videos. um, I am starting, and I wanted to show you this because this is a project that I'm starting this year for Rain's Kitchen and Garden. You see all these seeds here? These are all different varieties of basil seeds. I was always under the impression that there's basil, just basil, but there
Hmm.
are over 150 varieties of basil out there. And so I decided to buy 12 varieties of basil. So I'm going to be doing a basil experiment for Rain's Kitchen and Garden. And I'm going to see how much basil I can actually grow this year. And I also do, as you know, Bill, I do kitchen videos, recipe videos. And lately I've been doing a lot of asparagus videos because that's what's in season now. I'm
Hmm.
trying to grow that channel. It has over 4,000 followers at this point. It's doing really, really well. And it's growing very, very steadily. I wouldn't say like enormously, but steadily. So I'm really happy about that. And I do my research. I took a course in search engine optimization, SEO, to try to find keywords, to try to find trends, to look at the marketing and the analytics and things like that, to see what people are actually looking for. And if it suits what I'm interested in, then I'll put out a video like that. So the videos that I put out now, I have 3 videos with asparagus in it. It's the time of the year when asparagus is in season and people are actually I'm getting some hits on those videos. So I'm really, really pleased about that.
Hmm.
And Though the only thing is I have 2 asparagus beds myself, but where I live, it's still a little too cold and they only pop up in June, but normally speaking, around this time of year, asparagus is in season, so I do the kitchen videos, I do the garden videos. You guys have seen I've done the doggy videos, and I do things like I just put out a video last month on how to do a little bit of a minor snowblower repair. I try to, show self-sufficient videos on Rain's Kitchen and Garden.
So
So
then,
I'm really, really pleased with that.
so do you
What was
have a
that, Bill?
you have a greenhouse? Because you live
No.
more north than I do.
I live in New Brunswick in the Atlantic province of Canada. It's pretty mild here. Our winter is pretty much already over now. But the thing is, I don't have really hot, hot weather. There's a pocket maybe in August where it's extremely hot and humid. But for the most part, I can really only start planting in the ground mid-June. And my season only lasts until first week of September. So I have a very short growing season. I would love to have a greenhouse, and I'm actually um, looking every time I go out. If it's garbage day, I'm looking to see if people are throwing out old windows, and I'm like grabbing them, and I'm
Oh, so
putting
you
them in
want
the
to,
shed.
yeah.
I want to build my own greenhouse out of old windows, and I don't have enough right now. But one of these days, and that'll be a video on Rain's Kitchen and Garden, because I've done videos also on how to set up grow lights and things like that, and minor car repair and all those kind of things, to try to be as self-sufficient as possible. So that was my goal. I wanted to always have a homesteading channel, and I achieved that. And it's like I said, over 4,000 subscribers now and tons of views. So I'm really happy about that. But the thing, if I can tell anybody anything about your channels, be consistent even when the numbers are low. Even when you think like, oh, nobody's gonna watch my stuff. Be consistent, but
Mhm.
quality over quantity as well. If you put out a video every day and you have crappy quality video, people aren't going to watch it. But if you put out maybe 2 videos a month and it's superior quality and you've
Mhm.
taken your time putting it together, people are going to latch on to that. So I've started to record everything in 4K, and I have a really, really good video editing software that I take a lot of time for. And sometimes I have to drive to the next town to Tim Hortons and I have to latch onto their Wi-Fi to upload it because otherwise
Mhm.
I can't upload it. Um,
Wow.
but that's what I've been trying to do with Rain's Kitchen and Garden to try to keep it consistent. And I do notice if I'm not consistent with the videos, my views go down, my numbers go down, I lose some subscribers and things like that. So
Well,
consistency and
one,
quality.
one of the things you may notice if you switch to more of a live show is that, uh, let's say it was that your people watching your videos just might drop off. They may not watch your videos. They may just only watch your lives when you go live. So what do you want? What
Yeah.
color do you want the sky to be?
Well, I want to stick to the warm palette because, as we discussed before, Bill, it's been
Mhm.
a long, cold winter for me. I felt more chill this winter than any other winter before.
All right. So
So
go into my big set. Now these are all nice warm colors. You want it
how
like a
about the
warm
oranges?
oranges?
Yeah, I'm looking at I was thinking of your shirt, you know,
My
sort of,
shirt. Okay.
sort of,
Here's
mix of oranges.
a color in my
That's a
shirt.
nice one.
All
Is
right.
that
So
like an orangey yellow?
it is called honey orange.
That would be good for the sky, I think. That's a
All
nice bright color for the sky, definitely.
all right. So here's some
Oh,
yellows.
oh, what's the
Some
one at the very end? The
It's
very end, that
kind
one.
of peachy color. Maybe we'll
Nice.
take the yellow right beside it, and then we'll take some of these oranges here.
Yeah.
And you want to go like dark to light or light to dark?
Well, do we want a sunrise or a sunset?
Well, that's
I
up
would
to you.
probably say a sunrise.
A sunrise.
So
So
let's
you want
start light and dark up because we're having a sunrise, right?
okay. So
These
then,
girls are up early.
all right. So we want to start up here at the darker colors and go down here to the lighter colors.
Yes, because we're doing a sunrise. They're up early for the harvest and they're celebrating early.
All righty. Okay.
Love it. Love
All
it.
right.
And I just want to say to everyone out in the chat, it's hard for me right now to follow along with the chat because I'm doing this on YouTube and I have my computer over here and I'm looking at the comments over here, but they're going kind of fast. But I just wanted to say, um, Ange says, Rain makes a mean baguette. And to be honest, with Rain's Kitchen and Garden channel, that is the video that went viral that really got me tons and tons of subscribers. I think it's got like over 250,000 views on it so far,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
going strong every day. So yeah,
So
that one.
so
And I did a video called How to Shock Your Well, which is basically
Mhm.
bleaching your well to get rid of iron bacteria in the well. And I think that one has, I'm not sure, but maybe 6,000 views on it. Maybe
so
more than that. I don't remember.
so then you and Moon Scarab have some videos that have gotten lots of views because he has one
Yeah.
that up there as well that 78 him going through the 78 cards of the tarot and
Yeah. Yeah, Ramon has a lot of views on that one, and because that's what people
mm,
want, and he's really good at it. I've watched that one several times over. Even before I met him, I
mhm,
watched that one, and then I noticed him in the community, and then we got to know each other, and we became, friends on YouTube. So, and we
oh,
collaborated just last weekend on Saturday Night Love. But I'll mention that after. I'll
yeah,
mention that after. So I just want to check out the chat. Check out the chat. Just for a second. Just for a
all
second.
right. Yeah, because I have a hard
Um,
time asking this too when I'm doing this show with uh eventually I know I'll be able to. But see, my eyeballs are only like a couple inches away from the screen, so
mm,
it's kind of hard to see. Everything's a
yeah.
blur over there. I know that Alexis has been chatting away with Ange,
Ooh,
and
Lexi.
mhm,
And I just want to say to everyone, I'm tapping my heart and sending you lots of love. And thank you so much for being here. I love all you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I like to say that tap, tap, tap. That just means I love you. And now I've got Lexi saying it too. So I'm happy about that.
yeah, yeah, mhm,
Tap, tap, tap. So, okay, back to business. So that's Rain's Kitchen and Garden. And yes, I know, and purple. And these are cool colors. And I'm wearing blue. I should have been wearing orange and I should have done my nails yellow.
mhm.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So then
Um,
how far away from Ange do you live? You like 100 miles or something like that, or
oh, no, I think it would take me, what do you think, Ange? 18 hours to drive to see
not
you if I didn't stop? Something like that.
quite a way?
Ange is in Ontario and she's far, like, there's Ontario and then there's Quebec and then New Brunswick is down here. So I would have to travel unless I went through the States, I'd have to travel up through Quebec and then down. So it's quite a while away. Yeah, I'm not very close to any of my besties, but
All right, not too far away. So a reu a meeting of folks would be a huge ordeal.
a huge ordeal, but it will happen. It will
Yeah.
definitely happen. Yeah, because I am not going to my grave without meeting a handful of people. You can be
Yeah.
sure about that. It's just hard to fit 5 dogs and a cat into the back seat right now to go visit people. So,
Is did you got that Volkswagen travel bus yet?
oh god, no, I have an, SUV, which I suppose I could put them in there, but they wouldn't be happy. What would I do with them when we got there? These are hooligans.
Mhm.
These are all shelter dogs, and they're very special. They're afraid of people, and they're just so comfy with me here. And my cat is just like my sixth dog. I call him my sixth dog. But yeah, it's hard to travel with them. I tried traveling once with them when I was getting my basement spray foamed. We went to another town, and I had the dogs with me and the cats, and it was just like, oh my god, I never want to do this again. This was
Mhm.
insanity. but one day if I can, hey, if I become a YouTube, if that becomes my career, maybe I can get an RV and I can put all the babies in the back and I can do a tour across US and Canada and meet everybody that I want to meet. That would be a dream come true. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I wonder how, I mean, I'd like to have 1,000,000 subs myself.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these people who have a million subs, they know what they're doing. They know what people are. It's a lot of technology videos, and it's a lot of also people who do like reaction videos or like silly videos.
Oh, but
What's
then
this guy's
there's
name?
that one guy, Next Level Soul, who does he just crossed over 1,000,000 not too long ago, and I remember I
Mm,
started following him when he was, like, 50,000 subs. That was, like, 2 or 3 years ago, and
wow.
he went from doing, like, 1 interview a week to 3 interviews a week. He just interviews people with, like, channelers and,
Mm. Well, that's
uh
a good strategy to grow your channel because if you're
yeah,
interviewing people, people are interested, and those, like if, for example, you and me, Bill, we're on
mhm,
live together, people have come here knowing me, people come here knowing you, and maybe if they like what they see, they'll start subbing to me, and maybe some of the people who came here because of me will start subbing to you, and it's good to collaborate with people and especially do interviews with people. I think
yeah.
that's a very smart move if you're trying to grow your channel for sure.
Well, that's kinda
But we don't have to talk about all the analytics and the
well,
SEO and all that behind the channels.
I actually usually ask that question towards the end.
Hmm.
I've been asking almost everybody that question about YouTube and stuff like that, and
Well, a lot of it is luck as well. I think a lot of the time, if you get into YouTube at the right time, like on my Spiritual Rain channel, I did a tribute to my late hound dog Jack, who passed away a year ago, and I think it has over 15,000 views on it. And it started to get popular again because he passed away in February of 2024. And it started to get popular again around the time of his death in 2025. I noticed I was getting like, a thousand views a day again. And I was getting up to 100 comments a day again around that time. So I think it also has to do with the what they call the YouTube algorithm that checks everything in your description, in your title, in your tags. And if it checks and says, okay, this is the time when I'm going to throw this into everybody's suggestions, then that's what they get. And that's kind of what happened with that video for Spiritual Rain. And I really got a lot of hits off that one, which
yeah,
is kind of sad because it's my hound dog Jack. But it was nice to have. It was a beautiful tribute to him, and um, I got a lot of hundreds and hundreds of beautiful comments from people. Not one bad comment from anyone. No trolls, which was really nice. So I think a lot of it has to do with the timing, the luck, your research, your subject matter, marketing, checking out the trends, quality of video. If you do 4K videos, those are more popular now. 1080p videos are less popular now because a lot of people, actually in my analytics, 30% of the people watch my YouTube videos on TVs,
yeah,
and those are big screens, so they need to be 4K. They have to be really, really good quality.
yeah. I need to get another camera. I had a camera. Really, um, it was a 35 millimeter video still taking camera, and I had bought it like 10 years ago, and it broke on me like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Mm.
Well, it wouldn't
I
say.
film only with my phone. I only film with my phone. That's how I do it. I have a
Yeah, and
very good quality phone, and it's better than the camera that I have. It's more versatile,
so
definitely.
getting. I mean, I would like to have a camera that can do both stills and video, but being able to plug you'd be able to plug mics into it and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
that you could do you could do both, you know, both vertical and horizontal. You can do live both directions. But
Well,
those.
the problem with I think the problem is the technology, Bill, with cameras, which you can spend thousands of dollars on a great camera, and then in 5 years, guess what? iPhone and Android are going to beat that technology and put that into a phone. So that's why I sort of hedge my bets mostly on the phone's cameras now. It's nice to hold a camera, but I think that the technology outbeats the camera when it comes to phones, definitely. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, so that's why, I'm doing this on a 2021 stylus. It's a Motorola. I have
Okay.
I have in my wish list two new ones. Two, actually,
Mm,
they're ones, I think one's at 2024 and one's at 2023. But
hmm.
like your sky so far. I decided to add some pinkies to the top there to try
Yeah,
to give it some depth and so forth.
definitely blend away, blend away. And I will talk about my third channel that I started. I decided one day that I wanted to have a fun channel. So I created Rain Francis Art for Kids. And it's a kids only for kids channel. And you have to put that all in your settings that it's made for kids. And there are a lot of restrictions on it. It's very, very well managed by YouTube. There are no comments allowed on it. It's it's a channel that I just have fun on. And I've been consistently, with the exception of last year when my hound dog died, I've been consistently putting a video up every week on that channel. It's like I do videos like how to draw a banana, like, and I put little funny faces on it. Or like the latest one that I did, I think was how to draw Cinderella's slipper. And while I'm drawing it, I tell the fairy tale of Cinderella. Like I try to do fun things, and it's just kind of like my playtime. And I think I have 850 subscribers on there. I have like more than enough views. I have hundreds of thousands of views, but people aren't subscribing. They're watching, but they're not subscribing, which is okay. I want to grow it very slowly and make sure I have a nice base. But again, the consistency. And so I do like 4 or 5 every Sunday. I put out a video. So depending on the month, there's either 4 videos or 5 videos. I think my most popular video is how to draw a red apple. And I use coloring pencils or markers. And I think the next most popular video might be how to draw a mummy, something like that. But it's just fun, Rain Francis Art for Kids. I love that. And I actually started it because a good friend of mine, her name is Nick. She is one of my closest friends. She has 8 kids now. She fosters kids too, but she has a bunch of kids of her own, so she fosters in and out. And I asked her about it. She was kind of like she was like my guinea pig for starting the channel. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this video and it's private. I want you to watch it, put all the kids in front of it, and tell me what they do, how they react. So I actually had my little test kids, to do this with. And it helped me to really figure out how to put the videos together and to take my time talking. And once in a while, I'll say things like, "So, how are you guys doing?" And Nick told me her kids actually respond to me and they go, "Oh, we're doing okay." So it's like very kid oriented. But there are a few channels that have basically like stolen the market on that. Like these are two huge channels that are kids channels, and I'm trying to ease myself into that, but slowly but surely I'm getting there. So that's my
Mm.
third one. Oh, you're putting all my links. Aren't you guys amazing?
Well, I will be putting all of her links in when the video is done, and I can
Thank
go back
you.
to the
Oh,
description.
wait. So Ange said something about she's making lasagna. Oh my God.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
grating the cheese. That's what she was talking about,
Mhm.
grating cheese, which automatically my mind went to a Saturday Night Live skit from the 70s. It was called the Bean Cafe, and people were they were like, "Well, would you like to have cheese with your beans?" And then it would be, I
Jesus.
think it was like Tom Hanks was there, and maybe some other people. It was when in the 70s, and then, so would you like me to grate the cheese or cut the cheese? And all trying to do this with a straight face and everything, and
Oh god,
yeah,
it's
so
hilarious.
yeah,
That reminds me of the sketch with Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi, no, John Belushi. Cheeseburger, 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 and Bill Murray.
yeah, yeah.
I'd
Well,
like a ham sandwich, cheeseburger.
cheeseburger, yeah, yeah. Or there was
Okay.
an episode when Patrick Stewart, when there was they did the last Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they ended that,
Okay.
and so the very next Saturday, it was probably, I don't know, I think that that was like on Thursdays or Wednesdays. I don't know. I used to plan my life around Star Trek, and
Really?
oh yeah, and so the very next Saturday after Star Trek: The Next Generation ended, Patrick Stewart hosted Saturday Night Live, and so then they had him play all these weird roles. So you had this idea of Captain Picard, and then you had these skits where it was Phil McCracken, the Scottish therapist, or it was Patrick Stewart playing the owner of a sexy cake store. And then people said, well, I wanted this. And I says, and why is, but then it was like, well, and you gave me a cake of a woman going to the bathroom. And he would say, sexy, isn't it? Something in his voice and his accent. And then there's all these odd roles. And I'm thinking, wow, you just didn't see when you saw that character, you associate the character with the person, and now you're seeing the person doing what they love to do, which is acting, and they threw him in these roles that are just absurd, and he played these absurd roles.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you though, I'm a Captain Kirk gal.
yeah,
Captain Kirk all the way, you know. But I'll be honest, I watched Star Trek, well, the Kirk years, right? And I never actually progressed to the Patrick Stewart years or anything beyond that. I wasn't into it back then, probably because I was in school and I was working and stuff like that. But yeah, Captain Kirk with his halting way of talking.
yeah. Well, I
Plus,
like
he's a
Captain.
good Canadian boy.
I like I liked William Shatner too, and
Mhm.
then, but
Yeah.
there was Star Trek Continues,
Mm.
and they did the original set and everything, and I think they were trying to make it into a TV series. And I don't know that it ever aired on TV, but there's a
Mm.
whole season. I think there's like 12 or 20 episodes of this show called Star Trek Continues. It was cast with totally new characters, but
Mm.
using the same set and everything with the Star Trek thing. And I think it does have all the flavors of fan fiction.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
I
Well, I'll just continue along.
yeah.
Um, the fourth channel, because we're only at the channels now. We haven't even started talking about the Three of Cups yet. We have a good rapport, Bill. I like that. So the fourth channel that I started was Spiritual Rain, which most of you know me from Spiritual Rain. And it was supposed to be my channel where I could just let go and be spiritual and just do my thing. But the thing is, like I mentioned before, with Rain Francis art, you kind of a lot of people, we start our channels not really knowing what we're going to do on them. We just know we want to do it. So I was kind of just following along with what other people were doing. So I started doing deck reviews and I started doing um, videos on different cards. And then I did card of the day. And at one point, I started a meditation series with the tarot cards. And I started what I called bedtime stories, where I read bedtime stories, little stories for you. And I sort of evolved into doing live streams there. And also, I do one series that I call Healing with the Inner Tarot. That is a very, very important um, series for me. It's from a book called Healing with the Inner Tarot. Do you need my input?
Yeah, let's do the ground
Okay.
where
The
there's an
ground. Can you do some maybe terracotta, sienna
yeah,
brown type of colors?
that's what I was grabbing. I
Yeah,
figured
nice and warm, you know?
that kind of a thing, and maybe some. Let's see. Do I
If
got
you have
any?
like a do you have like a Tuscan red kind of
Yeah.
vibe?
What is that
Yeah.
color? Is that like a red brown?
Yeah. I'm looking more like red browns, orange browns, like a pumpkin orange maybe, and something like that
Tell you
for
what.
the
Let's
ground.
take a few of these things, and then I'll just put some yellow right into it, and it'll kind of bring
There you
it
go.
there.
I love your sky. That's really pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's almost
I
as
like that.
it almost reminds me of the one I did with Ramon,
Mhm.
because he wanted like a sunset too. We did the let's see, card number 10.
You did the wheel, right? The Wheel of Fortune with him.
We did. We did the Wheel of Fortune, which is coming
Mhm.
there. So
There it is. Oh,
that
that's
was
really nice.
yeah,
That's really nice.
the sunsetty thing. But
Hmm.
so you're on your fourth channel.
Yes, yes, and I'm doing a recorded series called Healing with the Inner Tarot. Um, it's a book by Kate Van Horn. It's called The Inner Tarot, and each she pulls each card and she helps you heal through it. And I thought this is a great series that I want to do because not only am I going to share her wisdom, I'm going to give a little bit of my own input into it. Um, I recently started a degree in modern applied psychology, and I'm very, very interested in the human mind and behavior and personality. And I like to link that together with the tarot cards because for me, one of my most important most important people in my life was a what I call my spiritual healer. When I was at my worst point of depression and after burnout, I was seeking regular therapy, but it just wasn't doing anything for me. And I met this woman who brought in the tarot and brought in Reiki and tapping, body tapping and things like that. And so for me, I wanted to emulate that with the psychology background that I'm learning and that I have with the tarot cards, mixed in with the inner tarot and Kate Van Horn's ideas about healing. So this is a series that I try to do every week. It's very hard because it takes me about 12 hours in total. I start, the latest one that I did was the Ace of Cups, where I talk about self vulnerability and being vulnerable within yourself, within your shining points and your dark sides. So it's a whole thing. And I offer journal prompts and I give you references and resources and things like that and things to think about. And it takes me, like I said, about 12 hours because I research it. I read that part of her book. I contemplate. I do the recording. I edit and then I upload. So that one episode takes me 12 hours of preparation, plus, as we know with the barnyard internet, 33 hours to upload.
Mhm.
So I've been trying to do it every week, and I have been successful in doing it every week until December when I had to put my internet bandwidth elsewhere. So now I'm getting back into healing with the inner tarot, but it may not be every week. I intend to fully finish it. I've done all the majors. Or have I done? No, I started with the pentacles on that one. So all the pentacles are done. And now I'm starting with the cups. And I'm on my next one will be episode 16, the Two of Cups, though I don't know when that will be out. So, you know.
So essentially, YouTube is your full-time job, except
Yes and no. Except for what we discussed before. No, YouTube is a full-time job. managing 4 channels, but like I said, Rain Francis Art, kind of haven't done anything since Halloween.
Mhm.
Um, I have those 4 channels that I keep up. I also have a website. It's called rainfranciscreations.com, which I created last year, and it was supposed to be to complement more or less Rain Francis Art and Rain's Kitchen and Garden. For example, if I do a cooking video on Rain's Kitchen and Garden, I will put a post up of um, how to create the meal with pictures and the recipe card on rainfranciscreations.com.
Mhm.
Plus, on that website, I'll start by saying I used to have a blog on blogger.com, and
Oh,
every week I hosted what I called an art date, Thursday art date with Rain. And I would give people a prompt, and I would have people who linked up in a link widget, with their blog post, and we would share their creation with regards to that prompt. And it was fun. It was a great community of people. And I learned a lot from people, and we shared art. And I decided to get off Blogger because I wanted to have a little bit more control over my website. So I took a course on WordPress and I figured out how to do it. I paid for web hosting, which is crazy expensive, but I
yeah.
wanted my own website. Yeah, it's crazy expensive, Bill. It's like you could get cheap stuff like GoDaddy, I think they have, or whatever. Your website, if people click on it, it's going to take 10 minutes to load. You have to make sure that if people are clicking on your link, it has to load within 3 or 4 seconds. So if you want
Mhm.
that, you got to pay for it. And I had all this money that I'd been saving up for the typical thing they say, you got to spend money to make money.
Yes.
Well, when it comes to business, that is very true. You have to invest in your business. So that's what I did. And with rainfranciscreations.com, I host a weekly show now called Rain's Thursday Art and Dinner Date. So basically, the once a week blog post has to do with art and food. So it's kind of a combination of what I love to do, which is create art and eat. And
Yeah.
I actually have I have a video, it's a short video, I think, on Rain's Kitchen and Garden, and it's like why I love to do foodie videos because I get to eat my work. you know? So
Work.
yes, the 4 the YouTube channels, the website, plus now I've added that I am creating 8 decks, all 100% my own, drawing, painting, the backgrounds, the guidebook. I have researched where I want to get the metallic box that opens up. No tuck boxes, no little white pamphlet. This is the whole enchilada. So I'm giving
Mhm.
myself 2 years to get this done. Might take 3, but this is all my full-time job, plus keeping up a house and 5 dogs and a cat. And this
And
here, this takes work to keep up. Self-care. It takes work to keep up.
so I
So,
like boxes like this.
oh, I was thinking of that, but if you guys know the Edgar Allan Tarot, I don't know if you know it, but what you do is it's yeah, you open it. That's it. The metallic thing. That's the one I'm
Yeah.
going to do, but it's going to be much bigger. It's going to be much bigger because I want my guidebook to be 5 by 8 inches. I want it to be a full size guidebook. Like I'm pulling out all the stops. This is my legacy. This is what I'm doing. So
Yeah. These are nice boxes too. I do not like
yeah.
the. I agree with you. I don't like the tuck boxes at all.
I don't like them. They rip. They just you can't get all the cards out. I don't like the little white. And another pet peeve that I have is when people put guidebooks together, they put all this emphasis on the majors, and then when the minors come around, it's like,
Yeah.
1 or 2 little sentences. No, mine
Yeah.
is going to have a full color image of the card and tons of information about every card on major, minor, court, everything what I want to see. And guys, I can't tell you the subjects of the artwork because it's top secret. And I told Bill it's top secret under pain of torture. There's only 2 people in the whole wide world who know about this, and it's going to have to remain a secret.
Mhm. Well,
And I just wanted to say, Well, 'cause, Ramon's in the chat, so I wanted to say hi, Ramon. Mwah. And, someone else came in. Mama Sushi came in, and I wanted to say hi to Mama
Yes,
Sushi.
you can. Miss
Yes,
Martin.
I get to eat my work. I love that, Ramon. And Miss Marzipan Moments. Oh my god, I love your name. I love marzipan.
I've seen
Oh
her
boy,
before and somewhere.
nice. I would take a piece of marzipan and just
Yeah.
like Bugs Bunny eats a carrot.
Hmm.
I love that. And Clint's Creative Clay Projects online is here. Hey, that's a great name too. I'm
Clint,
assuming you're an
um,
artist.
Clint
Wonderful.
is also
Wonderful.
he's also in Canada from Newfoundland, so he's a little bit
Really?
east
Clint,
of
I'm in New
you.
Brunswick.
Yeah, yeah. So Clint is going to come on sometime. I think he's going to come on sometime in April. We're going to do something. We're not,
Nice.
and it's not going to. I don't think he does tarot, so we're not going to do that. So we'll do something else.
Artistic.
Yes, yes,
Nice. And Clint's on the rock, as they say.
yeah.
Newfoundland the rock. I love that.
All right. So okay, so you got that stuff. I was like thinking, how do you have the energy to do all this stuff? And
I don't know. You know what it is, Bill, and I'll be very honest with you. I feel like a lot of my life was taken away from me through um, traumatic experiences, recovery, and mental health, plus 7 years on mind numbing pharmaceuticals.
I see.
And I feel like I'm in a state of carpe diem obsession now. I know how quickly life goes, and I'm sure you can attest to that. We can all attest to it. As we grow older, um, we know how quickly time goes by. And we also are aware, even though I plan to live till 110 years old, um, I'm 57 years old this year.
Oh,
We know
that's what I turn on my birthday and
your
on
birthday is in a couple of days, right? You're in 2 days?
Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna be 57. Yeah, because
57. So
I
there
can
you
remember
go.
telling myself when I was 30 that if by the time I reach 40, if my art or my writing doesn't go anywhere, I'm just gonna quit, walk away, and just knuckle down on some boring ass job or whatever. But you know what happened? I got older and I'm just doubling down on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah.
I don't know how much
And it's
time I
it's even
have.
harder, Bill. It's even harder now because with us artists and even with my cooking channel, gee, who am I competing with? Martha Stewart? I'm
Yeah.
competing with like food.com. You have to really put a lot of work into it. I will never, ever, I don't think I will ever have 1 million subscribers on my channel, but I'm just going to keep going and see how it goes. I just want things to evolve organically and naturally so that I'm enjoying myself, but that it will be a little bit of income when I lose my disability pension, which is in 8 years from now. So that's why I'm working even harder. It's the carpe diem obsession that I have to seize every moment of the day. But it's also the fact that I am aware that in 8 years, I don't have an income anymore, except whatever I have to save or the little Canada pension plan. And I think Clint, you probably know as a Canadian, and Ange, you probably know that that is like just above what people make on welfare. So that's not enough for
Also,
people to live on.
it also
You know what I
depends on
mean?
who you elect to as your next prime
Mm,
minister, because I mean, I know you don't. We talked a little bit about that. I do follow. I follow politics.
mhm.
I don't follow it as closely as I did a couple of years ago, but I do follow politics. I don't
Yeah.
talk on my channel because that's not really about that's not what my channel is about. I'm not, but nevertheless, I do follow follow that and those kinds of things, and I do hear that there is because there is this trend towards authoritarianism that's going on in the world. And but then again, it's like, as I think I mentioned the other day, we got to live. We still got to live here.
Yeah.
We still have to
And
live.
sometimes we have to take things. No, we're not gonna go into politics, Ange, at all, 'cause I Bill and I had to talk about that, but,
We're not,
um,
and we're not
we
going
have
in.
to take care of ourselves. We have
Yeah.
to try to be as self-sufficient as we can. We have to try to put our money where it will grow the most. We have to educate ourselves when it comes to that. This year, this is my year. This is the year of rain. I am changing so many things. I am currently taking a course on investing. I have a degree in finance, but that's like that was like I don't know how many years ago, 30 years ago. And I did work in the stock market. I was an administrator of a day trading firm. So, and I took some courses to try to start trading. I learned about stocks and bonds and dividends and things like that and mutual funds. But a lot of that I lost over the years because I didn't actively practice it. So now
Mhm.
I'm back to taking a course on investing your money wisely at this stage of my life where I have to put more money into I have to diversify my portfolio, but I'm getting my finances in order. And I think a lot of people don't do that because they're afraid of knowing, like, oh, I don't have enough for this and enough for that. But at my
Mhm.
age, at 57, I have to get that going because I definitely can't rely on social assistance when I'm older. There will be no quality of life. So that's another reason why I'm gunning for trying to get my business going, trying to get my YouTube channels growing, trying to get my website going. I admit I qualified for Google Ads and I was lazy and I didn't put them on and they closed my account. I have to get some ads on my website. Just little
Mhm.
ads that are, if I'm talking about, how to make asparagus soup, maybe I'll have an ad on, a whisk from, buy this whisk from Amazon. It's just a little thing on the corner, nothing that's, too obtrusive, but things like that that will generate little bits of income from everywhere I can find possible. So that's kind of what my drive was. And yeah, taking care of the dogs and the house and all that. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I guess
it's a
what
big,
I know
it's a
that
big task.
I was going into that realm that Ange was getting a little upset, but I was just trying to say that we s- we still have to live. Whatever the world is, we have to live in it. And
Yeah.
you and there are things in the world that are completely beyond our control. And so it's like, you can obsess over. It's like, well, one of my cousins. Uh, I live in the Coast Range in Oregon, and the growing season here is extremely short because I'm, like, what, 20 miles, I'm less than 20 miles from the ocean. And so, and it's rainy, and I live in a valley like this. I get like 2 hours less sunlight than people just a few miles away, and everything.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going with this? Shoot,
Well, I just want to say, first of all, Ange wasn't upset. She was just suggesting we don't talk about politics.
well, I know, but well, I
Not
guess
upset. Not upset.
what I guess. Oh, that's right. I was talking about my cousin who
Mm,
doesn't that doesn't want to come, inland, or she lives on the east side of the Cascades in Washington State, and doesn't want to come to the coast because if she comes to the coast, it on the day that she visits is the day that there's going to be a tsunami that'll just wipe her away. So he
um,
come. And now I'm at like 57, and I'm thinking, well, you know what? If I get wiped out in an earthquake or a tsunami, well, there's really nothing I can do about it. So I just might as well try to live my best life right now.
yes. Seize the day. Carpe
Yeah, yeah,
diem.
that's
My
right.
obsession.
Yeah,
You
just
can't control what's going to happen in the future. You
yeah,
don't even know if you're going to be here tomorrow. You
yeah,
don't know that.
yeah.
Don't put off today, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today.
All right.
Gratitude. Be
Let's
grateful for your life and everything. Really,
let's
really.
move on to their costumes that they're wearing, because I took the liberty
Well,
of adding some non-warm colors and put some cool colors in here to make the
Well, that's okay because we talked about that before because it's the first day of spring. Happy spring equinox to everyone, and to my friend Ivy in Australia. Happy fall equinox. She is going into fall right now, but we are going into spring. So I told Bill, yeah, use a little green. That'll be okay.
Yeah.
But how about emanating these colors? Orange and red, and maybe instead of the white, maybe yellow.
So we got a lot of yellows here. What about like pink and
Yeah.
how about maybe what about okay, that's you it's your gig. I'm sorry. I've it you
No,
want
I want your input. Give me your input. We're artists. We work together. We blend.
well, I was thinking okay, this is on the my favorite tarot, which is the universal weight between this one and the radiant are my favorite
Okay. Yeah.
so this one's a little bit subdued. So we're looking at this one being like this, and you want this one being brighter colored like this, but maybe the one in white, maybe like blues or pinks or something like that. Blues,
Well,
maybe
if I had the choice, maybe yes, I think could we go with a
purple.
greenish blue?
Yes,
Like
we
a
can do that.
turquoise?
Okay, all right. Let's go into my colors
All right.
there. Welcome, Thomas. I haven't seen you for a while. A bunch of
Thomas. Hey, hey, hey.
and Thomas was like my second guest too, whereas Anne's was the first guest.
Ange was your first guest on color. Oh, nice. Coloring the tarot. Very cool.
First, and Tarot Your Way was the second.
Have you guys
Celine,
moved yet, Jeff?
Celine was like my third, and then I think more intuitive me was maybe the fourth, and Mama Sushi has been on, and Moon Scarab, and Heather, and I'm forgetting somebody. There was Soul Soul Whisperer was my last.
Mhm. And Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth has been on twice, and the
Mhm.
second we did a paint off, and so
Oh, Karen. And Karen. Roots is
Karen,
Roots. I called you Roots, Ange.
yeah.
See?
So if Rain
Hey, Roots.
has a break in her schedule in the future, and then if we do a second time, we'll do maybe a different thing like a paint off or something like that.
Ooh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Ms. Roots to you, Rain, says Elizabeth.
All right. So I got a bunch. I have a bunch of greens here.
Okay.
So you just want
Um,
so
yeah, could you how
this.
about a turquoisey kind of bluish green? I can't see it very well. I have
All
to
right.
squint.
I will pull in some of these colors here like this, some lighter ones and
Yeah,
some darker ones, and then some blues, and we'll layer those.
okay. And you can blend all those in together. That would be really pretty. So far, I love the sky and I love what you did to the ground too. I love that.
Yeah, it has a little bit of some depth to it, which I like that. So,
Yeah, very nice.
all right. So
Well, you know what? We talked about my YouTube channels. How about I talk about the Three of Cups?
yeah,
Because isn't that what
yeah.
we're supposed to be talking about? You know me, I talk. And you know, guys, believe it or not, I had a root canal treatment yesterday at 2 p.m. I'm fine. I have the best. I This is the second time I've seen this dentist. Would you believe me if I said pain-free dentistry? Would you believe me? I'm talking, I'm feeling great. I'm on the top of the world. You know, I'm like James Cagney in White Heat. Top of the world, ma. Top of the world.
Well, I
Are you
had
an
a
old movie fan? I think you are, Bill, right? You're an
I had
old movie fan.
now done by an oral surgeon
Oh, no.
on
Yeah.
one of the front teeth, and that was like I've had them done by oral surgeons twice in my life, and the oral surgeons are the best at root canals because they are pain free and they have like these microscope devices that they're using because they're surgeons and they're not just plain dentists. And so they are actually the most pain-free ones to go to if you can, but they cost a lot more money, but if your
Yeah,
insurance and your whatever, if it covers that, then yeah,
it's a lot
choose
of cabbage, a lot of
choose a
cabbage.
yeah, choose an
Mhm.
organ. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, everybody
All right.
just loves root canals.
Oh, yeah, we all love those. Hey,
So
with my dentist right now, bring it on.
yeah. So did you choose
Derutify everything.
so did you choose a gold crown or did you choose a composite crown?
0 crown because I can't afford it. So he knew that in advance. So he was very careful when he went in, and he's gonna put a permanent filling. So hopefully that'll be good. Fingers
Yeah, so
crossed. Fingers crossed.
a tooth back there where guys, it was like they the dentist plugged they said, well, I can plug the hole for you. And I said, yes, please do that because I it was like one of my molars and I didn't, we just don't want to lose your molars, and it's like it's it's really yes, as you've said, you've tested that it's really difficult to chew your food if you don't have molars because that's what they're for.
I was joking with, Bill before that I'm like a squirrel now. Because I don't have any molars on the bottom. I lost them all to grinding my teeth and teeth breaking and things like that. So I chew like a squirrel. I'm like and I got used to it.
Yeah,
That's all right. But I eat a lot of, soups and blended foods and things like that, and the pizza, I just chew a little slower,
well,
but it's not gonna stop me.
my little peewee dog lost the last of her teeth in 2020,
Um,
and so I've
oh,
been and then she's a very particular eater, and though the new vet has tried to say, well, she's got to start eating vegetables now, and I'm thinking, God, the dog doesn't like vegetables, and
no. You know what I do, actually? I take the kibble, I put a little water in it, and I leave it out for, like, an hour, and it softens the food, and they love it.
well, except that my dog is so picky, she won't eat canned food or dry food or any.
Um,
My mount is starting to slip here.
oh,
It's
well, Bill, how about I start talking about the 3 of
yeah,
Cups
why
and
don't
what
you?
it means to me? The first thing I think of when I think of the 3 of Cups is, um, the Golden Girls, that show?
Maybe.
It just I'm sure some of the people in the chat know the Golden Girls, the 3 older ladies in life. It was Betty White, B. Arthur, and I can never Rue Callahan were the 3 Golden Girls. It was a sitcom in the '80s,
Yeah.
and they were the epitome of the 3 of Cups for me, like these women who were friends through thick and thin. And for me, and it's interesting that you asked me to do the 3 of Cups. It was on a live show that you were doing with Elizabeth, I think, and you had no idea of how significant this card was for me. It's one of the most significant cards for me right now in the tarot because it represents this stage of my life that I'm going through, and for the past 3 years that I've been going through, 3 years that I've been going through. The most important area of growth for me over the last 3 years has been my friendships, and in the last three years, I've developed, the deepest connections with friends in my entire life.
Mm.
Even I have a friend who I've been friends with for 15 years. We, over the last 3 years, have deepened our connection where it's just like I'm just like I'm on butterflies when I talk to her right now because our connection is so deep. The trust
Mhm.
is there, and it's just It's amazing. So this 3 of Cups not only represents the celebration of friendships, but it also, for me personally, it really represents the last 3 years of my life and how I've grown as a person and as a woman, and how I've allowed people to come into my life. So this is a very, very, very significant card for me. And celebrating the friendships that allow you to shine and to be able to grow to be yourself, being with your tribe, people who support you and celebrate your wins, but they also support your losses. They help you through your losses. And to me, this card is a true, genuine, long lasting friendship card. We should celebrate those people in our lives every day because I personally think that a true, genuine friendship is very rare. It's about joy, it's about beauty. I think it's got a very strong feminine energy to it. It's got a good vibe to it. It's soft, it's love, it's nurturing, it's emotion, it's support. I just love it. This is like one of my favorite cards in the deck at the moment. It changes over the years, but right now, this is it. And I can sing that song. Thank you for being a friend. You're a pal and a confidant. Doo, doo, doo. It's all about that. It's just,
Huh.
it's a wonderful card for friendship. And I think at this point in my life, with everything that I've been through in my life, what's most important to me is developing deep connections. And not only have I developed deep, strong friendship connections that are loving, I am continuing to develop deep, strong connections with new people that I'm meeting, that I'm bonding with. And it's a wonderful thing, Bill. So that card is very, very important to me. And I'm so grateful that you asked me to come on your show to talk about that card. Seriously.
Yeah, so that's Mama Sushi was kind of the same reaction. Why did I choose the card that I chose for her? Uh,
Mm.
Mean she asked that, why did I choose that one? And I don't know. I just chose it. I don't know why I chose it. I just did. I don't have it. I didn't have it.
Maybe we had a little energy vibe going there.
Yeah. Well, I chose these cards because they weren't the one. Didn't have all that black space in them that I thought. Well, that's not something that I wanted to. Anyways.
Hmm. I'm just looking at the chat here. I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, yeah. I gave Elizabeth the four swords, and I can't remember who I.
Mm.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose track.
Well, I wanted to mention the cups because I'm getting a little deeper into this. So, um, for me, the 3 of Cups, the cups themselves, those 3 chalices, they represent what I think are the qualities that are so important in a genuine friendship. The first cup on the left is love. You have to like the person. You have to have shared values, common interests, being like minded, share a sense of humor. You really have to like the person to be able to love them. And if you have these things, I think that works into a possibility of a good friendship when you have all these things in common. You don't have to have everything in common, but if you're like minded and you share your values and you enjoy the same things and you get each other's sense of humor, I think that can really, create a bond of love between people. And that for me is the first cup of friendship. And the second cup of friendship, which is the highest cup up there, the highest cup. And I just I just saw what Elizabeth wrote. Can't stand ya. Can't stand ya.
And yeah, that must have
If
been
you
a.
can't stand ya,
Yeah.
if you can't stand ya, no, you haven't gotten to that first cup. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a Seinfeld fan like me, and I could quote Seinfeld all day. I get a lot of my comedy comes from I steal it from Seinfeld and The Simpsons. So
Yeah, I have the movies Waiting memorized, Office Space memorized and
Office
Idiocracy
Space.
and
Yes.
Idiocracy memorized, and I've watched, and I love the show Frasier, and
Yep.
then there's this movie Down Periscope, which is sleep aid for me. That
Right.
I love that movie Down Periscope. I've watched it. I don't know, because I turn it on uh when I just want to go to sleep or something like that, and because it's it's just it just I can rewatch it and or just it's just there and I listen to it and it's in the background. It's
I
there.
call it sleepers. I call those sleepers.
Sleeping, yeah, because it's like for I had when I was like 21, I got hit with a anxiety disorder, and
Oh.
then I had like terrible nightmares, and so I stopped. I just did. s- I did would put comedies on at night because I would, just on the off chance that I wouldn't get a nightmare.
Mhm.
And so that's how I ended up memorizing whole films. Because maybe a lot of times I
Mhm.
only watched the first 15 minutes of it, and then I was asleep, and then there were all these ones that I went through over and over and over again. Office Space was one. American Pie was another one.
Mhm.
Or there were a whole bunch of them that I just keep every night and just started over. Well, we'll just advance it by 15 minutes this time. We'll advance it by this or that, and then somehow that burned itself out or whatnot. And most of my dreams were like the Signoria Weaver, whatever her name is, alien film. You got that
Yeah.
aliens, the face sucker would be coming after you, or it would be like gray alien because I read tons of books about aliens and so forth when I was young, and I don't get those nightmares anymore. But
Mm. I'm
or
glad you don't get those nightmares anymore.
but I still
Nightmares are crazy.
yeah
I've had some recurring since I was 8 years old, and I still get them today. It's crazy. I wake up like, I don't use the word literally that often, but I literally wake up
yeah.
screaming.
Mhm.
Oh, I have to say something. My beautiful Australian friend Ivy is here. Fairy Wren whispers. Oh my God, you're awake. It's
Welcome.
so rare to
Welcome.
see her. So rare to see her and chat because she's in Australia. Oh my God, Ivy. Tap, 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 Ivy. Tap, tap, tap. I love you. Lucy.
I
Easy,
really like
easy.
I really I like Vegemite. It's hard to get it, but I really like Vegemite.
Can't find it here.
You
Cannot
can't
find it here.
you can get
No.
Marmite.
I joke with Ivy, another shrimp on the bobby.
Mhm.
So like North American.
Yeah, like
Oh, Lexi, if you're still here, Ivy is also a fan of the tap tap tapping. Oh my goodness.
all
I
right.
just
So
wanted to say with Office Space, that's where I learned I've got a case of the Mondays.
the Mondays, yeah, yeah. It would be like when I was used to do back office work. I would trade lines with my boss, and then one of them gave me a red stapler. I had it, and then so when that business closed down, I got to keep the red stapler, and then one of
But
the people,
that's my stapler. I think
my
that's my stapler.
yeah, I'm gonna burn the building down.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Or we
So
have it's called a jump to conclusions mat. It would be this mat where you would just jump to different conclusions. you know,
that's the worst idea I've ever heard.
worst idea I've ever heard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're quoting the movie right now, people, just so you know.
Exactly. Yeah, the worst idea
Too funny.
heard. Well,
Seriously, people, if you can get your hands on Office Space that is just like one of the funniest movies you'll ever see. It's
Yeah,
really, really funny.
and then if you
Really
then
funny.
yeah, then if you'd ever worked in the restaurant food service
Mm.
industry, there's that movie Waiting,
Yeah.
and yeah, about that whole thing, and there's surprisingly there's a lot of accuracies to that. I mean, as far as the restaurant industry, and that's a good film too. I haven't watched it for a while. Idiocracy is also such an awesome film. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all that it's all
Well,
that
I'm a fan of, what's his name? The guy who does King of the Hill, who actually wrote and was in Office Space. His name escapes me right now.
yeah.
Mike Judge. That's it,
Mike,
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge
Yeah,
is Beavis and Butthead, and Beavis and Butthead was an awesome.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I never watched Beavis and Butthead because at the time I didn't get cable, so I couldn't
mhm,
watch it. It was on the Comedy Network, but I watched all the King of the Hills and I loved it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, you
and
know what you
there's another Christopher Guest who used to be on Saturday
yeah.
Night Live did a bunch of mockumentaries that are on my favorite. Spinal Tap, right?
Yeah, I do know,
And
but yeah.
yeah. And there's another one that he did called Best in Show, and it was a mockumentary about a dog show, and it's one of my favorite movies. That's the one I will play 2, 3, 4 times a month and just watch it and love it. All the great actors are in it and everything like that. But
So there is a clip, and you can see it on YouTube, when Ryan Reynolds Ryan Reynolds, he was in Waiting as one of the waiters in Waiting, and Reynolds went on Saturday Night Live, and then they did a Beavis and Butthead a skit, and a live Beavis and Butthead, and then so it would be like then one of the actors looking at, well, there's a guy sitting over there that looks just like Beavis, and then they said, well, we don't know who they had like the shirts with the death rock and everything, and the haircuts and everything. Watch that one, check it out. It's really good. But anyways, I got you sidetracked onto comedy, off of the Three of Cups,
oh,
and
that's
how
okay. We often sidetrack on these live streams, right?
yeah.
Always. Okay, so where was I? I was on the second cup. Okay, so the first cup for me, it's love. You have to have something in common with your friends. You have to have a sense of humor, shared values. If there's something about someone you don't like, it's hard to get to the next level, which is the second cup to me is trust. And that's the highest cup in the friendship cocktail, so to speak.
Mhm,
Um, I need to know that I can trust, that I can confide in a friend, and they will not repeat what I've said. They will not exaggerate or gossip about it and blab it to everybody. That's happened to me, and I found out about it secondhand. And for me, it's like, depending on the relationship, if it's a budding relationship or just getting to know each other, I'm just like, no, that's it, done.
mhm,
I might give someone a second chance if I've known them long enough, but if they repeat that behavior, it's like, 2 strikes and you're out type of thing. So the trust has to be there that when I confide in you, you don't repeat it or gossip about it.
mhm,
Also, I have to have trust that my friends will not judge me or dismiss my feelings or my ideas. I have to trust that my friends won't give me unsolicited advice based on them projecting on me when I open up to them. And I'll give you a good example. I had someone who is not a friend of mine anymore, who I opened up to many, 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 many years ago about a problem that I was having. And that person basically told me what to do. And I sort of said, well, I just have to think it through and things like this. And then she came back to me and she said, you know what? If you don't take my advice, I'm sacrificing the friendship. And I was like taken aback, like, whoa, control freak, please. And
mhm,
that friendship wasn't true, clearly, because I couldn't trust her to basically hold space for me and listen to me.
mhm,
So trust is really, really, really important to me. And I have to trust that my friends will support me and encourage me and be genuinely happy when I succeed. And even if I make bad choices, they're still my friend and they're not going to poo poo me. They're not going to tell me, well, you should have this. They're not going to should all over me. You know what I mean? They're just going to support me and know that it might take time for me to make the best decision for me. So
Mhm.
that top cup there is about complete trust.
Mhm.
And that's very hard to find these days. You know, like they say, common sense ain't so common these days. It's the same thing with regards to trust with people. And it takes a while to build trust. Sometimes it doesn't take a while. I have a friend who we clicked within like 2 or 3 months, right? You know who you are. We clicked within 2 or 3 months and we trust each other. We've hardly had any problems. We had one little problem, but we talked it out. And the trust just built more and more. So that's why the cup of trust for me is the highest in my quote unquote qualifications for a genuine friendship.
Mm.
And the third cup for me with regards to, you know, building a genuine friendship is growth. I think that when it comes to friendship, and for me, the Three of Cups is all about friendship and celebrating that friendship. Um, we are teachers and we are students within our relationship. You know, we teach each other things and we learn from each other. I'd like to think that I've taught my friends some things with my life experience and my knowledge, and I have definitely learned from my friends and put those things into practice, and it's made me a better person. So the growth has to do with teaching and learning, but it also has to do with growing together within our shared interests, especially for me, like personal growth. There is this beautiful, beautiful, sexy girl that I've met lately. You know who you are. And we bond over a certain motivational speaker. And it's starting to blossom in other areas of our life where we have common interests with regards to personal growth. For example, gratitude and living a life of gratitude. And for me, that is a budding friendship where we have the cups where I have the common interests, we're building the trust, and we're growing together. We have growth. We're all on separate paths. But if I can walk alongside someone and our paths are more or less kind of in the same direction, I think that is a sign of a blossoming lifelong friendship or a lifelong established friendship. So this card means so much to me, not only celebrating the friendships, but the three cups of what I call, and I'm stealing from Mel Robbins here, the three pillars of my idea of what is a friendship. That is what it means to me when it comes to the Three of Cups. And I love what you're coloring in here, Bill. Those are beautifully warm colors right now.
Well, I'm just following this on the universal weight because that's what you said you wanted it done,
Yeah,
and
it's
so I'm
beautiful.
going to do some more on this one, maybe a little bit more blues over here, and which I think I'm going to go to, and so we're at about 90 minutes in,
Mhm.
and so we're
And I
going.
haven't even talked about my spring rituals.
Well, you haven't even talked to, yeah, about how you
Oh,
maybe, yeah.
can I just respond something to Elizabeth? The first cup is love, second cup is trust, third cup is growth.
So is this the
There we
growth?
go.
Is the middle one the growth one, and then
No, no, the first cup is love. The highest cup is trust because that is
that
the
was
highest pillar. You have to trust somebody. Recently, I made the mistake of opening up to somebody about something personal in my life, and they decided to embellish it and talk to other people about it and spread rumors about it that weren't true. And I don't even want to be in that person's energy right now anymore. It just that trust was broken and it devastated me. So the love was gone. So there's no growth. So for me, it's love, trust, growth. And with those three pillars, long lasting friendship and that beautiful celebration. Beautiful
So
celebration.
trust is the top one, and then
Trust,
it, tr- then growth. Is it growth? This one?
growth. Yeah.
Where does
Because I feel like the first one is love, because I feel like the first thing you have to do is find what you have in common with someone. You have to like the
it?
person. You have to share a sense of humor, your sense of values. You have to, you know, you have to like the person. You have to want to
So
be around them, and that builds love.
love.
So
So
that
this
first cup
one,
is love.
love,
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Bill. That's
love,
wonderful.
trust, trust.
Trust is
Okay, I'm gonna
that's
put
the
it down.
biggest one. Yeah. Because I
Mm,
think when you're building a relationship and a friendship with someone, the
mhm,
trust, which is the most important one, that is the biggest test. And if that trust is broken, you cannot get to growth.
mm. Okay, we're just gonna put this up here. There
The
we go.
third one is growth.
Yeah, I see that growth over here. Because
Yeah.
this one, to me, this one I wrote on here looks like frost. Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good. So
So
we got.
yeah, so the 3 of Cups is very significant to me because and all the ladies in the chat, tap tap tapping, they're part of this card for me.
Mm,
Definitely. Yeah,
well,
definitely.
to do something. Let me see. Well, I'm gonna do their feet.
All right. Well, maybe I can talk about my spring equinox rituals.
Let's do
Rituals. Because basically it is the first day of spring here, although it's evening now. It was such a beautiful day today. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm in Canada and it's been cold, but last week or so has been the spring melt, at least in Atlanta, Canada, where I'm at. I don't know where you are, Clint, if it's snowy, but it's windy and it's crazy, but everything is melting. So it's a slushy, muddy mess out there, but I'm happy about it. Um, I basically open up all of my windows around this time of year, no matter what the weather is. I need to clear out that sort of heaviness, that kind of stagnation of winter. Bring in the fresh air and the fresh energy. I can hear the sounds of the birds. I can hear the squirrels. I can smell the conifer trees starting to bud. And as many of you know out there, I always talk about my hound dog, Jack, who passed away a year ago. He used to chatter his teeth whenever he was waiting for food because he was so excited. He'd go like that. So it sounded like a woodpecker. So I used to call him Woodpecker Jack. And so every time I hear a woodpecker outside, I'm reminded of my hound dog Jack, and I love him so much. And I always say, Woodpecker Jack, and I yell it out the window. I don't care what the neighbors, I don't have any neighbors, so it doesn't matter. But I say, Woodpecker Jack. And so I hear the birds and I hear the wind and I hear the leaves. And it's just such a wonderful time of the year, wonderful time of the year for renewal. Another
yeah.
ritual that I do is I clean, not just on this day, but I do a deep cleaning of my house this time of year, again, to shake off those cobwebs of winter. Um, Spring cleaning isn't just about cleaning house physically, it's about cleaning house in all areas of your life. Fresh starts, new growth, releasing the things that hold you from sprouting up. You know what I mean? I make a lot of good decisions for myself in the spring. I want to blossom. I don't want to be stuck in the stagnation of winter. Winter is great. It allows me time for rest, but it also allows the time for this noggin to figure out what I need to do to blossom forward. So that's another thing that I do. I love spring cleaning. And it's kind of like uh, it's amazing how much dust this little cottage creates, and I clean a lot, but it's unbelievable. So when I open the windows, I'm seeing like dust flying everywhere, and I'm really happy to be able to clean. Um,
Oh,
Another thing.
when you
Go ahead.
mentioned
Go ahead.
that, this little vision of Walden Pond with one of my favorite American philosophers, Dave
Walden.
David Henry Thoreau, and he talked when he goes
Thoreau.
to time to clean house. Well, he just moves all of his furniture outside of his little house, and then he's in there scrubbing the floors and scrubbing
Yeah,
the floors with soap and water, and then it dries out, and then he puts all the furniture back in. And I was
yeah.
like, if I ever, came into some money, I would like to put a replica of David Henry Thoreau's house.
Um, that's awesome, Bill. I have his book, and I also have another book that he wrote called Walking.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice. He's a great philosopher and he's very nature oriented. He's down to earth. He promotes self sufficiency and self thought and moving away from society. So, if anyone out there, get yourself some Thoreau books. They're amazing. I'm
Well,
glad you mentioned that, Ben. That's something we have in common. That's wonderful.
there was something that was because I've gone through the whole book on a audio, and the first time when I got it was like it was like there was a 10, 15 years ago there was this website where they had uploaded hundreds of books that you could download in an MP3 form.
Mm,
I went through his book in MP3, and there was
yeah.
some. I remember I know that I was like splitting wood at the time that I went through this section in there where he talked about that the need for every generation should come up with their own scriptures.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I tried to find it in the physical book, but I was never able to really find it. And maybe I just more thorough with it, but eventually, I mean, because my father had that book memorized, and but he's not
Mm.
alive anymore.
I have the
But
book, but it's way over there, and I'd have to walk through 5 dogs to get it, but yeah. Yeah.
and anyway, it's so I thought that was like really, I think he's that's true. Is that we need that every generation needs because every generation there's some changes that maybe we need to have our own. What
Yes.
is it roots us that roots us
Yeah.
to our spiritual selves,
Yeah,
to our
because,
spirit?
I
Yeah,
I know I know you're a religious guy, Bill. I was brought up as a Catholic, going to church every week, and I have since, not I don't connect with that. I'm not, you know, denouncing it at all, but it's something that I don't connect with. But I believe in the spiritual value of prayer and the spiritual value of routine. So,
mhm,
having said that, when I used to go to church and I recited the Lord's Prayer, it was just reciting and it meant nothing to me because to me, it was antiquated. But now I have sort of come up with my own, I call them walk and talks with the divine when I walk my dogs. And I
yeah,
say these things, and they are prayer like. I say, things like earth, air, fire, water today. And, and I go through these sort of prayers that I have come up with, these scriptures that I've come up with that are relevant to me and that mean something to me instead of reciting something that is sort of like I had to memorize as a kid. So I think that's a good point. We all have to come up with our own scripture. We all have to come up with what is more meaningful for us spiritually instead of just repeating what other people do. We have to be pioneers, in our own belief system, if you get
yeah.
kind of what I'm saying.
Well,
So,
I don't know that could say that I was a religious person because if I were to go you were to go to into it, they would automatically label me as a heretic. So, um,
mm, yeah.
so I understand. I would more or less label myself more as a Christian mystic, which
Okay.
with the Christian mystics is still being a heretic because most of them were. Most of the Christian mystics, and the ones that because a lot of the Christian mystics end up got killed by the church, and so, but they had to hide what they believed or hide their experience. But in our world today, we don't necessarily you don't have to hide your experience anymore. And
Yeah. You don't have to, but a lot of people do.
yes.
Yeah. Because and I can get into this whole vulnerability thing, like I'm obsessed with behavioral psychology. I can't get it out of my head. I just everything we talk about, it has to do with behavioral psychology, how people think, how people act, how people behave. Why do they behave this way? What led them to behave this way? And it just encompasses every part of our lives.
Mhm.
But Bill, I just wanted to, Elizabeth had a question. Well, she
Okay.
wrote, Three of Cups is friendship. Most of the time, it shows three women, and I love my lady friends, but sometimes jealousy creeps in and derails friendships. What are your thoughts? So, and she asked me,
Yes.
now, jealousy, um, when I talked about the three cups of friendship, which is love, trust, and growth. If jealousy creeps in, first of all, jealousy is not about you. It's about the person who's being jealous, right? It's the insecurities of the jealous person. And as Lexi will attribute, you have to let them be jealous. But you know what? Let you rise above it and either decide you're going to continue the friendship and talk to them about it, or you're going to let them go. Because sometimes jealousy comes into a circle of friendship as passive aggression. Okay.
Mm.
If someone is jealous, supposing I have a circle of friends, and let's give the YouTube example. I have a great, okay, this is hypothetical, okay? Rain has 10,000 subscribers, and she's inviting all these people onto her show. And this other woman is like, but she's not inviting me. What's wrong
Mm.
with me?
Yeah.
You know, oh, you know what? She's too big for her britches. I'm going to
Mm.
start gossiping about Rain. I'm going to this and that and this and that. That's jealousy, but it's based on insecurity. So,
Yeah.
what we need to do is rise above it. And we have to, as Mel Robbins says, Lexi, let them be jealous. Let them.
Mhm.
And let me decide that I don't want to be around the energy of anyone who is jealous. I don't want to be around the energy of anyone who is passive aggressive. I don't want to be around the energy of anyone who talks behind my back and who is fake in my face. Yes, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of repetition about let them do this, let me do this, and then walking away. It can be done. It really works if you are committed to it. But jealousy can destroy relationships. No, will. Jealousy will destroy relationships. So if you're in a situation where you have a jealous friend, you can take two routes. You can say, okay, let them be jealous. Let me do my thing and see how things go. Or you can go to that person and say, hey, someone told me you said something about me. Can you can you let me know your perspective on it? Because it really hurt me when I heard that. And see what they have to say. Because it might just be misguided jealousy. Do you know what I mean? It might just be something that was said in an impulsive moment, or some behavior that was done in an impulsive moment. That's not what the person meant. And if that person is important enough for you, to you, you're willing to listen to what they have to say. But if that person shows a consistent pattern of doing stuff like this, not only to you, but to other people, That's a red flag. And that's when you have to set a boundary and say to yourself, I'm not going to allow this in my life, no matter how hard it might be, because a lot of us are people pleasers. A lot of us don't want to stir the waters. A lot of us are afraid of retaliation. A lot of us are afraid what other people might think. But we have to put ourselves up on that pedestal and say, you know what? I am worth more than this. I know my worth. I am confident. I am a good person. I do not deserve this. Let them do what they want to do. Let me rise above it and do what I want to do to make my life the best that it can be. And if they get left behind, they get left behind. If they want to come to you later and explain themselves, open up your heart, soften your heart,
Mhm.
but take care of yourself first. And there we go. There is my psychology moment of the day. I can't
Well,
help myself.
I really have enjoyed this conversation, and so here is your 3 of Cups.
It's
You have
beautiful, Bill.
you
It is
very
beautiful. I love how you put a little bit of green into the yellow robe of the girl on the side. I love it. Did you put some green or is that just yellow or that
it's actually
chartreuse?
it's actually some blues and yellows and greens,
Beautiful. That is a beautiful color. I love it.
um, and I did
Beautiful.
some blues in their skin tones, and they kinda blend in with the sky and blend in with
Yeah.
everything. So this was an exercise in telepathy. I'm working
Mm,
on SP skills here, and yeah, and that's what we got.
beautiful.
Listen,
Beautiful.
right home
I just want to
after
go to the chat for a bit, Bill.
yeah, sure,
I
we can
just
do
want to
that.
because
You know,
I love everyone in the chat.
I
So,
think
Elizabeth, I
I
hope
turned
in my long-winded way I answered you.
yeah,
Oh gosh. And Ivy, look at my nails. Look at my nails, Ivy. Purple, purple, purple. Okay. Yeah, Elizabeth says yes, don't love me to my face and stab me in the back. Yeah. That Elizabeth, there's a lot of there are a lot of people who passive aggressively stab people in the back and then they come on as fake, once you notice that.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, Elizabeth said it turned out really well, Bill.
yeah,
Your drawing turned out really well. And Ange says, "Thank you for coming to Rain's TED Talk.
yeah,
Autographs after the show."
yeah. Brain TED Talk. Yeah, that's fun, fun.
Tap, tap,
And we
tap, honey. I love you.
get too derailed. We stayed. We didn't move into some dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Started, but I really was not saying I wasn't going there, but nevertheless, because
Yeah.
this channel is all about. And but yeah,
Bill, this was so wonderful. That I loved watching you color. It's very meditative. Honestly,
mhm,
when and I feel that too. When I'm coloring and drawing, I'm just like in a meditative state and it's a happy place for me. It brings me so much joy. And watching you color, and thank you for asking me for my input. I love the palette that you chose and it just turned out really, really well. And I think that we had a great show together and I'm going to try I'm not going to try. I'm going to make time to come back.
yeah. So
Definitely.
you
'Cause I
can
think we
come
have a good vibe together.
come back. Want to make sure we come back before the world ends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, before the world ends. Well, according to Thoreau, hey, we're
yeah, yeah.
just moving along, moving along.
For the next time is we'll choose one of those major arcana cards or whatnot that is all blacked off and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
something. And so I'm gonna
Well,
Arab is
can I
coming something.
can I sing you a little song?
Yeah, certainly.
Alright, it's from the Golden Girls, and this is to everyone in chat and to you, Bill. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the world and back again. Your heart is pure, you're a pal and a confidant. And if we held a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend." That's it.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. So
Thank you for being a friend.
slowly, this channel is becoming what I envisioned it. I've been wanting
Mm,
more of a talk show, and so
it's
that's what.
wonderful, Bill. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Anyways, and that's what we got for today. I'll just fold it up again, and
Beautiful 3 of Cups.
yeah.
Beautiful. Celebrate your friendships, my friends. Celebrate. Celebrate those friendships that are true and genuine and that come along very rarely. Don't let them go.
Well, because I've noticed that since I started doing the YouTube more like a more regular and also going into the tarot, that some of it seems like there's like divergences in my friendships, but maybe it was like, okay, you're heading into tarot, you're going into some place that I can't go, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it, doing that, and a lot of those types of people were coming from people who were atheists or agnostic, and or then there's like all the folks that in my life. Well, actually, I ended my Facebook account like 2 months ago, not completely, but it's
Mhm.
all my meta products are on temporary deactivated state, and
Mm,
because they're because I found that the Facebook or the meta algorithms are pretty toxic, and
yes.
in the content that they push, because it's like they somehow, I don't know, it's like it's like Zuckerberg. I don't like to mention these people's names, but that they programmed a demon into it. That and that demon goes in there and it finds your weaknesses and it pushes all that content to you that you don't even want
Yeah.
to see. The things that they know that you're going to get addicted to.
Yes,
And
yes.
as
It
with
happens. Have you ever done a search on Google, and then all of a sudden on your phone, you're getting suggestions for what you searched on your phone, on your computer? Like, it's Big Brother happening, and that's another show.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to my buddy and that I used to work with at that Indian gaming casino, and he got
Mhm.
they let him, well, he's a very unique individual, and but anyways, he'd be talking about these things, and he would be talking about, okay, he'd be like talking with some buddies about barbecues or something like that. And then he would go log on at the library to his account to go look at the whatever was on the internet, and then he would get ads thrown at him from things that he talked about with buddies who had in front of their smart TV or something like this. And so then I would go tell my friend, because I do a Zoom writing circle every week, and or I would even before that I would tell her on the telephone, because about these things, and, oh, Bill, that's impossible, that can't happen, and oh, it must be just proximity or something like that. It must be just coincidental. And I says, no, I don't think so, because they're just listening to you all the time. It's all about advertising to you all the time. And like I
Mm.
almost 2 years I kept when they get those Temu things, I kept on blocking those every time, but I could it was not possible to block the Temu website. So I just sort of
Mhm.
ignore it, and so when I got this phone, the first thing I did was um was delete the TikTok account. I was like, I will admit that I have some. I just to have didn't want to have those platforms around me. Because but everybody's out there stealing your information anyway. And
Mhm. Yeah,
everything being
yeah.
anyways. I don't know where I'm going.
Well, Bill, I thought I would pull just to end. I thought I'd pull some oracle cards if you don't mind. It won't be too long. Are you okay with that, or do you have to go?
No, no, I can do that, and I got this
Okay.
other my Oracle deck, which I can pull a card for you too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
go.
have this is the back of the cards. It's called the Famous Art Oracle, and I know you're an artist, so I know you're going to enjoy this. So I thought I would just pull some cards from the Famous Art Oracle with regards to the Three of Cups, and
Mhm.
let's see what we get. Just to, have a little card reading. I think it'll be fun. Hey, Bill and I both have hats, but mine doesn't say
Mine doesn't
spam
say
or as John says, maps.
maps. Yeah.
Okay, so I pulled the Botticelli. That's the Birth of Venus.
Uh huh.
And the message says beginning something new. So if we're looking at the Three of Cups, maybe we have a budding friendship that's going to start. And I got this one too. Oh, this is beautiful. The Raphael card. It says nurturing and caring. So if you're starting a new relationship, a new friendship, you want to have a Three of Cups moment, you have to be willing to put in the work. Nurturing and caring. It's a two-way street. It's not like we were in elementary school where, do you want to be my friend? Okay, I'll be your friend. No, you have to put in some work. Okay. So
Mhm.
then I got the Edward Degas graceful movements, and he loved doing ballet dancers. So sometimes you have to let me see. You have to be graceful in your movements when you're building friendships, right? You have to be guarded a little bit. And I'm thinking of dancing. When you're dancing with someone for the first time, it can be a little awkward. You could step on feet and stuff like that, but you have to move through it, right?
Mhm.
And the next one I got is who is this? Bill Frankenthaler. Oh,
Frank.
Frankenthaler. She's a Isn't she an abstract American painter? Frankenthaler? I don't remember her first name.
That's what you're talking about, Frankenfurter, like the hot dog or something like that.
Oh, no, Frankenthaler, and it says flowing with changes. So
Okay.
when you're starting a new friendship, you have to flow with the changes. You have to learn what the other person's all about, and you have to take your time and not rush into it, flow with the changes. Oh my god. I got the Grant Wood card, American Gothic. I love this painting, but it says keeping the status quo. Okay, seriously, when it comes to friendship and growing friendships, I don't wanna be the status quo. I don't wanna be stagnant. I don't wanna keep the same thing. I don't want to have, I wanna grow with that person. Like I said, that 3rd cup is growth. I love this painting, though. Don't you love Grant Wood? I love his stuff.
Yeah, that is cool.
American Gothic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then the last card that I pulled was Johann Vermeer.
Oh,
This is the girl with the pearl earring. A
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful classic painting. And the
Mhm.
message is harmony at home. So I think if you're starting a new friendship or if you're trying to develop your friendship with someone, you want harmony at home. And home could mean you. You want to make sure that harmony is within the relationship, right? And this
Mhm.
is a classic harmony. I absolutely love this deck, and I get so much from it. It's like 32 cards of, you know,
Yeah,
famous
this is
art, but
cool.
it's different every time.
So when I chose at random that backdrop from Canva, or it was almost the same color scheme as the back of that card.
Oh, beautiful. A
So
girl with pearl earring?
for the thumbnail for this video, for this show, I chose like this. Okay, well, we'll just grab this one and yeah,
Nice.
and it has the
Beautiful.
same color scheme as that for
Yeah.
the on this video.
Well, we're both artists, and that's what we're drawn to, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So what you got?
I'm kind of starting something new because I'm in the process of opening up a new channel to where I'll be doing divination on.
Nice.
And so
Oh, look
this
at that.
these fell out of the deck. This is a Mother Mary oracle, and so there were two
Mhm.
cards that fell out.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's very nurturing.
So this is the Lady of Rose Child,
Mhm.
and this is about what? What is? I'll just read it. Our Lady protects you from unnecessary struggle, yet there are some challenges that are essential for your soul to grow. These challenges will not be withheld from you because they are entitled to become your full self. You are currently outgrowing that which is too small for your soul. There may be suffering, but out of this will come deep healing, self love, and gratitude. Your freedom shall come swiftly. That was what this one said. And then this one here, it says, Our Lady who prevents interference. No fear shall prevent your forward movement. No obstruction shall overcome your destiny. Her love for you is more powerful than any sabotage or confusion. You can bear witness to darkness in your mind and the world around you, and then bring your attention back to your peaceful sanctuary within her heart. Stay true to your path while you trust in your sacred purpose and her protection. And they just sort of fell on the floor. So I thought, well, those are the ones that wanted to be seen. And so that was
That's
this.
lovely, Bill. That's lovely. Outgrowing what is not good for your soul.
Yes.
That is amazing. I love that message. And also, you said bring your attention back to your peace. Bring your
Yes.
attention back to what makes you feel at home, you know?
And
Harmony at home. Harmony
harmony.
at home.
Yeah.
Home is where the heart is. It's not just your physical house. What brings harmony to you? Bring your attention back to that. Get
Yeah.
rid of outgrowing what is not good for your soul. This is the year to do it, my friends. We don't have time is fleeting. And that is, do you know Rocky Horror Picture Show? That is Meatloaf singing, "Time
Yeah.
is fleeting." Or is it
There was a time that
not Meatloaf?
I had all the games memorized, and I haven't watched it for 20 years. But
They used to play that movie in Montreal at an old cinema, and we'd all used to go dressed up as the characters, and it was so much fun.
yeah, I heard of doing that. I actually never have seen it before because it was like the nearest town that had one of the theaters that played that was like 100 miles away from me, and so it's just like
Mhm.
not driving 100 miles. I mean I would have, but
Yeah, yeah.
it was
That's the perks of living in a city when you have to live with subways and cockroaches. You get to go to movie theaters every night.
I didn't
I'd
see
rather
it.
live in the country and
Yeah,
not
well,
deal with all of it.
I grew up in this valley where I'm at, and then I came back when I was 40 something,
Mm,
2011, so almost 2012. I came back at the end of 2011, and then 6 months later, my father died in a car accident, and
oh,
then I decided to stay, and I just decided to stay. But
yeah,
that's everybody's got a story like that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Rain, this was been a joyful afternoon. I have so enjoyed
So wonderful.
finally having you on, and then you'll come on in the future sometime, and then
Definitely.
maybe like in like 6 weeks or something like that,
Yeah,
and we'll do something else. We'll do like I did with Ange on her second time, and I'll just drop. I'll choose one of these cards that has all this black in it, and I'll redraw it, and and a tracing or whatever, maybe a redrawing of it, and we'll just do something.
sounds
Or
good. I'm totally into the tower if you wanna do that.
well,
Totally
I
into the tower.
did the tower with Liz Elizabeth, and then I've
Oh, that's true, I watched it.
and but and then I have made some of these my cards, which I actually
Yeah.
these are in, and then I did some tower ones, and where I replaced the crown that blew off with a UFO. Then
Yeah, I
replaced
remember. I watched that.
I replaced people with cows, with cows being beamed up to the sky, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
that I did a few more of these ones with cows and UFOs and tarot, and anyway.
Interesting that you mentioned cows because I pulled the Marc Chagall card. Marc Chagall is a painter, and he used to do a lot of cows,
Yeah,
lots and lots of cows. And this says attracting attention with cows.
yeah.
Lots of
Well,
abstract cows in Marc Chagall's
mm,
artwork.
well,
I
I
would
guess.
definitely love to come back. Definitely love to come back. And I'm somebody who loves the cards like the Three of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Tower, all of those, all of those sort of, the Five of Cups. I like those, the Five of Pentacles, those cards that are like at the brink where there's hope after. That's how I see it. I like those at the brink kind of cards where you're at the moment of like there's no return, especially the Ten of Swords, where like there's nothing you can do.
How about we'll do this one the next time, but
Yeah,
we're not going to use this one because there's nothing to paint or draw on it because of all that black, and we'll just do
yeah,
something.
yeah. Five of Pentacles is good because I know what comes next.
I'm
I
gonna
know that
mark
there's
I'm gonna mark it as rain. So for the
awesomeness.
next time,
All right. I just have to say, Ivy, I can't. If you're awake, I think it's like 5 in the morning for you or 6 in the morning for you. Thank you so much for being here, Ivy. You're so sweet. I
that's
love
very
you.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, and also one other thing before I turn this off is that if anyone wants to be a guest on the show, my email address is the.999show@gmail. And so if I happen to email you and you get this, you might think it's spam. It's not. Maybe it's me putting you onto my show, which I have. But anyway, it's the.999show@gmail. And then there are these buttons. My battery's almost out, so I know they're all, but and we are doing. Let me see. I have another one of those. Let's see. Okay, I got my soapbox, but that was someone else on us. And anyways, well, I need to do a spring cleaning too, I guess. That would be but I'm not really good at cleaning, so I can just do an imaginary cleaning, and then I can
Oh,
just
that's okay.
you can
And
just
a
stay
fictional cleaning.
fictional cleaning. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's good too. And I encourage anyone out there to contact Bill because this is so much fun. It's really, he gets creative, you get creative, you get to talk. And Ivy, I just want to show you I'm wearing the necklace. Okay. The bracelet. I just wanted to show you that because Ivy and I don't get to do she doesn't get to see me live, I don't get to see her live because of the time change, so I'm super, like, fangirl excited about the fact that she's in the
Well,
chat.
it's nice
But
to
I
meet you.
encourage anyone to contact Bill because this is a great show. Lots of insight, lots of great, great communication, beautiful people in the chat. Bill is a wonderful person, very, very artistic, and I am very blessed to have been invited on his show. Thank you so, so much, Bill.
Well, and
Really, thank you.
for
And I'm glad we finally got it together. We were like back and forth in email. Can you do it this day? Can you do it that
yeah,
day?
well, I had I re scheduled my mother's appointment because it was really needed to the tests that she had yesterday were the ones that needed to
Mhm,
be a doctor appointment,
mhm.
and so I just rescheduled it to next week, and that's fine. And
Thank you, Bill.
you're welcome, and have a good night. And thank you for being on, and thank you everybody for pushing the like button and all those buttons that need to be pushed, and for all the wonderful conversation that went on in the chat. I know it was all wonderful, and
Beautiful.
I don't think there were very many trolls. There might have been one or two there because I think a couple messages got deleted early on. But
Yeah, but we have our beautiful moderators to take care of that.
yes, my moderators, Ange and the more me and Moon Scarab was there for a minute or two or maybe longer. I don't know. But he's probably
Mhm.
now and anyways, that's it. And then I gotta go make dinner and all that stuff for
And I
my
gotta take the hooligans out for a walk.
yeah. All right. We're gonna say goodbye. And so when you do the YouTube live thing, when the show is over, the show is over. It doesn't go back into a backstage situation, and it just so you only get that
Right.
once at the front end.
So I
Okay.
click the X and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, Bill. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Tap, tap, tap.